finance examiner at the Cuyahoga County Board and clarify what issues they have with your report, with the post general report.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Richter, I would also recommend that you go ahead and send him a copy, Mr. Booker, send a copy of the whatever your referral was, so that he knows at least what they're complaining to us about.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Booker, let me ask you a couple. Can you give me a good email address, perchance? And then also, just confirm. Give me the address that I should send something to, so that we make sure we got the proper information. So give me your email address first.
My last name, Booker, the number 4, the letter D as in dog, at gmail.com.
So it's Booker 4 D as in dog at Gmail.
Yes.
Okay. And your address?
4160 Selfridge Parkway, SELF Ridge.
PKWY. And what city and zip code?
Island Hills, Ohio, 44122.
Island Hills, 44122, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I will make sure that stuff gets sent out to you here shortly. But anyway, commission members, I recommend we continue this to January 28th.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made and properly seconded to continue until January 28th, case number 2020-R-473. All those in favor of that motion, raise your hand or say aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it.
Okay.
Thank you for appearing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to spotlight, hopefully it'll work here. What is reflected on my list as Brian, I presume, Brian, that you are Mr. Sudduth?
Yes, sir. Okay.
That is the last case on the page 7. It's a reconsideration matter, case number 2018 R-394. My recommendation at this point, as he requested, was to have the matter reconsidered, to vacate the previous imposition of the per diem fine, but then to subsequently impose a fine of $250. So that's my recommendation, Mr. Sutter. Give me a second here. I'll get it to where I can. There you are. Let me swear you in. You can have additional comments to the commission. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Please go ahead and address the commission then.
Thank you for making time for me today at the end of your 3-hour marathon. I appreciate it. And also for this process, which is almost 2 years in the making, to close a small campaign from 2015. I've done the best with the partnership with my treasurer to fulfill all the requests of the Montgomery County Board of Elections, where I served as an employee for 2 years a decade ago. So I know the staff there, and I've been working diligently with them. The original issue was an outstanding debt that had been paid after the campaign closed that I paid personally because the campaign didn't have that money, and to try to close the account properly. And I believe, according to the last correspondence I had with Dave Langdon at Montgomery County Board of Elections, we have resolved all outstanding issues. Just a matter now is the fine and closing this matter so I don't have to come before you folks again and take one more item off your agenda for the new year. I'm sure you have other things to do than worry about this. There was never any accusation of wrongdoing. It was incomplete paperwork. There's never accusations of improper spending. It was simply by the time the board caught this error, the account had been closed, the campaign dissolved, and it was an issue of trying to go back to find old receipts and old paperwork years after the campaign concluded in December 2015. And I believe now we have completed the tasks that Dave Langdon has asked out of Montgomery County BOE.
So Executive Director Richter, anything that's been said, change your recommendation?
The simple answer to that, bear with me for a second or two while I'm trying to do multiple things here. No, Mr. Sudduth, there was one prior case involving you, 2018 R-394, in which we found a violation opposed to a $100 fine. I'm double checking my records, but my recollection is that fine was never paid, and that's primarily the reason why I'm recommending a $250 fine here. Does that sound familiar to you?
It does. It was all connected to this, and I believe that fine, since I agree with you, it was not paid, because I did not believe for that issue to have been resolved, that this is all sort of one long outstanding process, because the campaign was never properly accepted and closed at the Board of Elections. So yes, I did not pay that fine as levied the original case for this, only assuming that this is ongoing, had not been resolved to completion. Not denying the fine or objecting to the fine, but believing that we had not resolved the case entirely because the Board of Elections had not accepted the attempts to close the campaign fully, which I think they have done with the filing earlier this year, in the spring of this year. I believe has concluded the campaign properly.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Mr. Sudduth, thank you very much for taking the time to address the commission. In the case of 2018 R-394, the executive director is recommending to reconsider the matter, vacate the previous imposition of the per diem fine, and instead oppose a fine of $250. Is there a motion?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Phil, is that $250 in addition to the outstanding 100?
I would consider if that $250 fine would be paid, that would resolve both matters.
So do we need to consolidate the prior matter and impose a single fine?
I don't believe so, no.
This is Commissioner Norman. I'm going to recuse myself from voting, only that the video kicked off and I didn't hear the respondent's conversation with this. And I don't think it's fair for me to participate without having heard his say on this.
That's too bad. It was very complete and eloquent.
if he does say so himself.
Yeah.
So, Phil, do we need to address what Catherine just raised as far as the outstanding fine?
You certainly can. The $250 that I'm recommending, I was kind of, including that in to a degree. My recommendation subsumes was subsuming the other one. I will oftentimes treat matters that way. But if the commission wants to specifically address it differently, I'm not going to discourage you from doing so.
Well, Phil, I see on our ICW, we've got a case number 2019 R-482 with the $250 fine recommendation. Well, as an outstanding case, plus we've got a 2018 R-394. Are those both open cases?
Well, what we're dealing with right now is 482.
And is 394 the one that the $100 was never paid in?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to move that we vacate the prior finding in 2018 R-394, consolidate 2018 R-394 with 2019 R-482, impose a single fine of $250 and find a violation.
Second, Kreitz.
A motion made and properly seconded to do everything that Catherine just said. I don't think I can repeat it.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting because what amount did you say, Ms. Cunningham?
A total fine of $250 for the consolidated case of 2018 R-394 and 2019 R-482.
Okay, yes, thank you. Sorry.
All right, there has been a motion made and seconded. All those in favor of that motion signify themselves by raising your hand or saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the ayes have it.
Commissioner Norman abstain.
And I
One-
reflected that.
One
Thank
question
you.
for clarification. As this check comes to you in the coming days, we're referencing 219-R482 would be the proper reference for the payment.
Correct. And
Thank
I can take care of both of those matters with that. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Thank
Thank you
you.
again for your time and
Thanks, Brian.
appreciation. Thank you.
Well, it looks like I don't have anybody else
Thank you.
unaffiliated with a case here, except this person that I am trying to spotlight right now.
Ah,
EJ.
Ms. Wilhelm, is there a matter that you would like to address the commission concerning, or are you just having fun, enjoying sitting around for 3 hours like you used to?
And you're muted.
And you're muted.
and let's see that smiling face.
Maybe she fell asleep.
How could she? It's so compelling.
Well, it is that.
She had to drive somewhere.
She's ignoring us, I guess.
Smart.
She probably went to eat lunch.
And just
Smart
had a
again.
connection there, so that we'd think she was present this whole time. All right.
Well,
well,
Phil, do you show anything else?
I don't show anybody else, in the attendees list aside
Can we
from
take,
you
can we
guys,
take a 5-minute break?
who's the court reporter. Hey, we've been sitting here this long. I don't know why not. Maybe DG will come back in that interim. I mean, it's up to you guys.
I'm texting her right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that, but you're faster than I am, Otto.
All right. And is the only thing remaining going through the remainder of the agenda?
That is all that we have left. Yes.
Okay. And
I would agree with a 5-minute break.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
So move. Let's take a 5-minute break.
all right, will do.
Oh, golly, what a day. Well, we survived it so far, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get quite so involved, and go so long.
I had a feeling it might last, only because of all the various, I put on a number of, independent complaints. So, a lot of people want to have their say on those. And then, I thought we were going to just get rid of the ORP and the ODP case real easy. And then, once Zach filed his motion, I knew that was going to take more time.
Yeah, I have to say, we did have some interesting cases today.
Yes, very much so. You traveling or doing anything over the Christmas holidays, or are you around?
I'm going to be around. I don't think we're going anywhere.
Yeah, not too many people are going anyplace. You're right.
I had a Sean Strong. Did we
That was
address
very-
him?
that was the very first. Once we got past all the other stuff, that was the very first case we took up, and we continued that.
Okay.
That was the very first one where they were saying, "Well, we fought all the reports. We fought all the reports." Well, yeah, you
Okay.
probably fought all the original reports. But
I
you
just
got-
didn't have it scratched off my sheet.
Yeah. I think, and hopefully, I have reflected all those matters. Say that again? Well, as I hit on the camera icon up there, it says turn camera off. Yeah.
I've
So-
had problems seeing multiple people on the screen. I don't
At
see
various
anybody right
times-
now.
Yeah, at various times I have too, but I've also been able to see once I've called them up and once they started talking. So,
Well, for some reason, on my end, the whole format changed. When somebody talks, they have almost the full screen.
right.
And yet, just down at the bottom, there might be 2 or 3 visuals, 2 or 3 people that I can see. It's not been like that in the last meeting, so I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah, that is toward the end there. There were a couple of times when everybody was on the screen in front of me.
I've never had that. I
Right.
only see people periodically.
Stop spotlighting. There you go.
yeah, now,
I can see Otto and Natasha.
me too.
See, I can see Otto, Natasha, you, Dennis. There's Scott now.
There's Scott.
I only see one person. That's you, Phil.
Really?
I don't see
Mhm.
Phil at all.
That's probably
Now I can
good,
see-
actually.
I've got CT. Now you're not got a picture.
See, I get to constantly look at myself on this because I guess as I'm the organizer, I'm constantly there. Lucky me. See, now I've got everybody. I've got all 7 of you and Sandy before me.
I can't see Mike Kreitz, Chair Bromer, or yourself.
Interesting. I wish I could offer you a good reason why.
Yeah,
There is no
there's
good
got to
reason.
be a technical answer to this
There
problem.
has to be, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, right now I don't see Catherine, but then she's also muted, so she may be off somewhere else. But I can see everybody except Sandy, who probably doesn't want to be seen. There's Catherine back. See, I've got everybody except, well, DG's still nominally present. Did you get a response back from her, Otto?
I did not, and I had spoke to her during the session earlier on text, so she is paying attention to text. She just might be taking a break or something.
So now for the first time all morning, I have all 6 commissioners and you, Phil, on screen.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I've got everybody as well.
So what
See, I've
did we
got
do?
everybody's initials at the bottom, and then whoever's speaking, I've got you on my full screen.
That's what I had all morning.
That's the way you chose your group, probably.
Yeah, I've got all. I get to look at all of your wonderful faces.
Well, we back in session?
It would appear we're back in session, I think. Yep. So. Thanks for everybody's patience, by the way, and working through all this stuff and actually getting it started even. That was interesting to say the least with what, I have not had a problem since I came back down to my office and anyway. All right, if we're ready to get back into it, I'll start talking about the various group stuff that we have here. The first one is a real simple dismissal, 2020 R475. It's a duplicate referral, and the board acknowledged stuff, and they just, and so we just need to dismiss that.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Move to dismiss.
Second.
Cunningham second. Oh,
I think that was Chair Bromer.
it was.
All in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
The next matter, 2020 R-440, when it was sent down to me from the Board of Election, from the Lucas County Board of Elections, they included a statement that Mr. Phillips, former Judge Phillips, had passed away, and so my recommendation is and he had some outstanding matters. To reconsider all outstanding matters, vacate the previous findings, consolidate all the cases into this case, declare the committee terminated pursuant to our advisory opinion, and then to dismiss all matters.
So moved.
I think that
Second.
was Mr. Kreitz moving and who's seconding?
Who seconded that?
Oh, for Charlita, Ms. Taveras. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye or raising your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
Chair, you want to go over and take over from here? Or you want me to keep going?
No, I'll go. In the following cases, 2020R-450, 2020R-451, 2020R-461, 2020R-463. The executive director has found, recommended that a violation be found, but for good cause, not impose a fine or refer the matter for further prosecution. Is there a motion?
So moved. Kaufman.
Second, Norman.
Second by Beatty. Motion made and properly second to
That
concur
was
with the
Excuse me,
executive
Scott, that
director's
was not
recommendation.
seconded by Beatty.
That was
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Norman.
what?
That's okay.
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Norman
what?
made the second.
Improper minutes. Next meeting.
I got it.
Who was the second?
You can check with Scott,
Got it.
Wow.
Mr. Norman.
There's a motion made and properly second to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, raise your hand or say aye.
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 All those opposed, the ayes have it. In the next cases, starting with 2020 R-078, 2020 R-428, 2020 R-435, 2020 R-436, 2020 R-441. The executive director has recommended a violation be found and a $50 fine be imposed. Is there a motion?
So moved, Beatty.
Second.
Second,
Kreitz.
Norman.
Motion made properly second concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
I'm gonna, did you comment on 448, 2020 R-448?
No, I think I missed that.
Yeah, and I'm looking back to make sure we haven't addressed it. So I think you need to address that one too.
In case number 2020 R-448, the executive director has recommended a violation be found and a $50 fine be imposed. Is there a motion?
So moved. Kaufman. Second, Tavares.
Motion made and properly second concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Nay, the ayes have it. Now, the next case at the bottom of the page, have we resolved that already, 427? I don't,
Which one is the very top of the page?
no, it's the bottom of the page, $100 fine category.
Oh,
Daniel
I've
Kilbane.
got that on a separate page. There are 3 cases outstanding in that one. 2020 R-427, 2020 R-430, and 2020 R-433.
Okay.
Still,
In the 3 cases just mentioned by the executive director, he is recommending that a violation be found and a $100 fine be imposed. Is there a motion?
So
Commissioner
moved.
Norman, so moved.
Second, Cunningham.
Someone made a motion and there was a second. All those in favor of that motion,
Aye.
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 all those opposed, the ayes have it.
are we getting a little giddy, I think?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We are now on the $200 fine category, starting with 2020 R-466 and 2020 R-481. The executive director recommends a violation be found and a $200 fine be imposed. Is there a motion?
So moved. Kreitz.
Second,
Second.
Kaufman.
I'll second
Motion
it.
made and properly seconded to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The next case, 2020 R-432, the executive director recommends that that case be consolidated with case number 2019 R-404, find a violation and impose a fine of $200. Is there any discussion or a motion?
So moved, Norman.
Second, Kreitz.
Motion made and properly second, concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The next two cases, 2020 R-456, 2020 R-457, the executive director recommends a violation be found and a $250 fine be imposed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made. I think we are getting a little weary. There's a motion made and properly second, concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The next two cases, 2020 R-464, 2020 R-210, the executive director is recommending that all outstanding matters be reconsidered, vacate the previous findings, consolidate all cases, find a violation, impose a fine of $500, and declare the committee terminated. Is there any discussion or motion?
So moved, Norman.
Second, Tavares.
Motion made and properly second to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, the ayes have it. The next cases, 2020 R-446, 2020 R-454. The executive director is recommending that a violation be found and a $25 a day with reconsideration option be imposed.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made, properly second, concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The next case, 2020 R-449, the executive director recommends that the case be consolidated with case number 2020 R-061, find a violation, impose a fine of $8,000 plus $25 a day with reconsideration option. Any questions or is there a motion?
So moved, Commissioner Norman.
Second, Kreitz.
There's a motion made and properly second to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The next case is 2020 R-452. In that case, the executive director is recommending that it be consolidated with case number 2020 R-064, find a violation, and impose a fine of $25 a day with reconsideration option. Any discussion or is there a motion?
So moved, Kreitz.
Second, Norman.
Motion made and properly second to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The next case is 2020 R-455. In that case, the executive director recommends consolidating the case with 2020 R-065, find a violation and impose a fine of $25 a day with reconsideration option. Discussion or a motion?
So moved, Kreitz.
Lord. Second, Kaufman.
All right. There's a motion made and properly seconded to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion say aye or raise your hand. All those
Aye.
opposed, the ayes have it. The next case,
Hey, Dennis, do we
Case
want to make
is-
sure, we want to make sure Phil's off the phone because he is our official record keeper in this for our minutes.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm back.
yeah, I didn't see that.
Multitask.
In cases 2020R-431, 2020R-437, 2020R-462, the executive director is recommending that a violation be found and a $25 a day with reconsideration option with payment of $250 be assessed. Is there any discussion or a motion?
So moved, Norman.
Second, Tavares.
Motion made and seconded to concur with the recommendation of the executive director. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand. All those
Aye.
opposed, the
Aye.
ayes have it. The next two cases, 2020R-434, 2020R-442, the executive director is recommending a violation be found, $8,000 fine plus $25 a day with reconsideration option be found, be assessed rather. Is there any discussion or a motion?
So moved, Kreitz.
I'll second.
Norman.
There's a motion made and seconded to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor signify themselves by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The next case is 2020R-472. In that case, the executive director is recommending a violation be found and $9,800 plus $100 a day with reconsideration option be found. Is there any discussion or a motion?
So moved, Norman.
Is there a second?
Second, Kreitz.
There's a motion made and properly second to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand. All those
Aye.
opposed, looks like aye, none opposed, the ayes have it. The next case is 2020R-447. In that case, the executive director is recommending a violation be found and a fine of $32,000 plus $100 a day with reconsideration option. Is there any discussion or a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved, Norman.
Second, Kreitz.
Motion made and properly seconded to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. We are now at continued upon request of respondent. Those cases are 2020R-445 and 2020R-474. Again, they are being continued upon the request of respondent. Do we need a motion for that?
No.
No.
You just
All
go
right.
ahead and continue, Mr. Chair.
One thing before I go on to continue for service, you might want to find, I noticed, it's kind of humorous, a FINDA violation.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah,
And
I
yes,
thought that's a new word there. I don't-
I'm trying to create a new language. Yes, I did use the spell checker on this, and no, it didn't recognize that. So obviously, there's a FINDA out there somewhere.
All right, the following cases are to be continued for service, and they are 2020R-426, 2020R-429, 2020R-438, 2020R-439, 2020R-443, 2020R-458, 2020R-460, 2020R-465, 2020R-467, 2020R-468, 2020R-469, 2020R-470, 2020R-476, 2020R-477, 2020R-479, 2020R-482, and 2020R-483. The next case, I think we
dealt with that, correct?
dealt with both of those cases.
Yes.
The next case we have is in the reconsideration. Case number 2020R-187. In that case, the executive director is recommending it to reconsider the matter, vacate the previous finding, and instead find that there is good cause present. I guess that's not to impose a fine or refer the matter for further prosecution.
That is correct.
All right, is there a motion?
Phil, can you tell us a little bit about that case and why your recommendation is no fine or penalty?
Sure, let me get there. So 77, I think it's the last one on the list. I'm already down there generally. It's just a matter of now finding it.
I think I have that
There you go.
updated.
Obviously, this is a committee out of Hamilton County, and the response from the treasurer was they had very limited activity and the need to submit a report was not initially recognized. The treasurer also suffered from a number of other difficulties at the time around when the report was to be filed, including extended illness and subsequent passing of the treasurer's husband. Very difficult, challenging time. She, I didn't include it in here, but she was very near depression, I guess. And the need to file campaign finance reports were not high on her list.
Okay.
Any other questions about that case? You heard the recommendation of the executive director. Is there a motion?
So moved. Norman?
Second, Tavares.
Motion made and seconded to in case number 2020R-187. All those in favor of that motion say aye or raise your hand. All those opposed? None.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
passes.
I will add editorially that the Honorable Mr. Bayer, who Dennis is aware of, former member of the commission, who always encouraged me, always come back on a reconsideration case with a fine unless, I think even Dale would have been okay with that one as a good cause.
That's the only reason I asked. It's unusual. It's
Yep.
unusual.
All right, the next cases are 2019 R-203, 2019 R-422, 2009 R-428. In those cases, the executive director is recommending that we reconsider the matter, vacate the previous imposition of the per diem fine, and instead impose a fine of $100. Any
So moved,
discussion?
Kreitz.
Second, Cunningham.
Motion made properly. Second, concur with the recommendation of the executive director. All those in favor of that motion, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The next case is 2019 R-496. In that case, the executive director is recommending to reconsider all outstanding matters, vacate the previous imposition of the per diem fines, and instead oppose a fine of $100. Is there a motion?
Phil, can you tell us what the outstanding matters are?
Give me a second. Let's see. Okay, this one, the explanation, the candidate had a variety of health issues that occurred during the time that the addendum was to be filed. The cancer diagnosis being the most severe. With all this going on, the need to file campaign finance report was lost. And the committee, she has indicated, has now been terminated. There was one particular, along with cases in 2014 and two cases in 2014 in which we found good cause and imposed a $100 fine subsequently or consecutively. That was paid. Then there was 2019-028, which was also an addendum referral in which we acted on about a year ago, November of 2019, and we $25 a day that one. This one we $25 a day and with a $250 reconsideration option, presumably with a payment, but I go ahead and put them up anyway. And so I felt like with that prior history, even with her health issues, I thought a $100 fine was appropriate.
So when you're talking about all outstanding matters, you're really talking about 2019-028 and 2019-496.
496, 028, 496, correct.
So moved.
Second, Prince.
Motion made and properly seconded to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that motion, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. And it looks like the last case is 2019 R-464. In that case, the executive director is recommending to reconsider the matter, vacate the previous imposition of the per diem fine and instead impose a fine of $150. Any discussion or motion?
So moved, Norman.
Second,
Second,
Prince.
Brahmer. There's a motion made and properly second to concur with the executive director's recommendation. All those in favor of that recommendation, or that motion rather, signify himself by saying aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. So, Mr. Executive Director, I believe that completes our business.
Yep, after a little more than 3 hours. Thank you for your patience and your diligence and stick-to-itiveness. Sorry for the initial problems getting everything going, but obviously once we got going, I think we did okay. But also I'll add an additional thank you all to you for the Christmas gift. I put a little extra note and email to you yesterday, but I also like to say thank you. And I know that both Betty and Chris, were they here right at the moment, would also say thank you. They both commented to me they appreciated getting the gift that you sent along with them. So thank you all very, very much. Have a good holiday season. Needless to say. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I got signed minutes back from Natasha and Dennis. Scott, I'll drop by your house at some point and I'll figure out how to get a hold of the rest of you guys to sign the outstanding minutes that we have. Obviously, we'll get at November's as well. I'm not sure what else to say other than that. Scott, you look like you're going to say something.
I'm down in Florida. I'm going to be down here till late in the 22nd, so don't try coming by before then.
I noticed that on the email that I sent to you with the oh, okay.
Oh, stop.
Nice.
I missed the snow last night.
Aye.
Happy for you.
We
Seriously.
have a couple inches on the ground, Scott. Thank you for showing me that.
Yeah,
Well, as we started our meeting, I got a call from my daughter. She got in an accident today due to the snow. Somebody pulled out in front of her.
oh, yikes.
Well, kudos for even putting on a tie when you're in the sunny South, you know?
I had to play the part.
I think he took that down there the last time he was down there and just left it there so that he'd always have a tie down there. He could slop on real quick so that he didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So Merry Christmas to everyone, and let's hope 2021 is a much better year than this one has been.
Agreed.
They all
Thank
screwed
you.
No
up. Merry
doubt.
Christmas
And
all.
with that, I guess I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I heard that from Ms. Tavares.
There's
Who
a
was the
motion
second?
made and properly second to adjourn. All those in favor of that motion, unless you want to keep going.
No.
No.
Heck yeah.
I'm not hearing
Always
any
voted
opposition.
for that
Motion passed.
Happy holidays,
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays to
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
Same to
Enjoy.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, Phil, what started out to be a disaster, I think ended up okay.
You know, it took a while, obviously, but yeah, I would tend to agree with you. it somehow kept going, thank heaven. I apologize for the various moves I had to make. By the way, I said something to Mr. Kreitz. He called me earlier in the week. I'm going to want to have a brief conversation with you and he. And what I'm thinking is I'll just, see when I'll probably email both of you, see when you got available on a Teams call, and just, link up with you. If not, sometime next week, early the week after that.
Who are you talking to, Mike or me?
I'm talking to you primarily.
Oh.
Are you seeing too that Charlita's kind of frozen, Mike's frozen on your
Yeah,
screen?
they're both frozen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm seeing as well.
Yeah, they are.
Gotta love
Yes,
technology. Oh,
well,
now Charlita's gone. Mike's still there, presumably, but I think he's gone. It just hasn't recognized it yet.
it looks like he's there in perpetuity. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm holding on, and I know Chris is, because until all of us go away, we don't stop the video. So if you want to go ahead and leave,
I will. All right.
I'll be in touch with
holiday.
you. I'll be in touch with you at some point, probably early next week, and we'll get together. I'll get together with you and Mike.
All right. Very good. Thanks.
Okay. Have a great holiday, Dennis. Thank you. Mr. Kreitz, are you there? Well, presumably we're all done. Bye.